Thank you so much for joining us on the Howie Games YouTube channel. We appreciate your support. A bit more of a serious one, this one. In recent times, the Black Lives Matter movement has spread rapidly across the globe. A lot of people have learned a lot of lessons from it. Nic Naitanui, it is an issue very, very close to his heart. This is what Nic thinks about the entire movement.
Your feelings from what you were seeing around the world at the time?
Yeah, it's pretty sad. It was pretty emotional scenes we were seeing around the world during that period, and some of the marching and things like that. I thought it was warranted. I thought it was relevant, and it probably divided a lot of people as well, some of their opinions. But I think the way Simo summed it up with pulling people up, I think the casual side of things, we're all guilty of it. We all casually joke about certain things, and he's made the football environment one where you're not casually saying something. And I think I've always, words never really hurt me too much. And at times you let people get away with certain things, but just having an environment where you don't have to pull people up all the time, it's not happening, just makes it a safe and a comfortable environment. So yeah, it was a good initiative by the AFL to think of showing, a sign of solidarity and bringing everyone together. And, it probably meant more to myself, being a person of color, that, a sport in this country was willing to do that. I know it was a heavily publicized thing in America and probably wasn't as big here in Australia. But then, we sat down with our players and, in particular, Indigenous players, and speak to them what it meant to them and how they felt with some of the police injustice and some of the things they've had to deal with in their lifetime. In particular, playing footy. Like Liam Ryan and myself have been big ones of copying racial vilification on the field and, on social media a fair bit. So I understood what it was all about.
When you mentioned that at times the words hadn't hurt you, I was fortunate enough to feature on the show recently a fellow called Love Morton Daw, who's a boxer, Australian world champion, who grew up in South Africa and grew up under the yoke of apartheid. And my questions, I didn't have the experiences to ask him proper questions about it, to be completely honest with you, Nic, but he was explaining to me in his eyes what racism does to you as a person, as a community. What does it do to you if you get that dickhead, bigot, ignorant, you choose the term, person that sends you something of a racial matter? What effect does it have?
Yeah, it makes you feel really, what's the word, insignificant, really small. For me, it used to make me really angry. Like I used to, I guess, resort to violence or resort to anger and, backlash. And that was my way of expressing myself. But now it's down the path of educating and making people aware. I think the more people, I always feel the more people get to know me as a person and what I'm about in my culture. And, even though I am a dark-skinned person, I think that helps other people of color as well. And I think the more of us doing it, allows people to, I guess, just know what you're about and not be fearful of color or not see you in a certain way. And I think that's probably why I wrote a children's book. I wrote a children's book about accepting differences, but accepting different cultures and different backgrounds, because we are all different. And I think the kids, to be honest, I think the kids these days are pretty well aware of multiculturalism, and there's not a heck of a lot of racism. And I think when I was at school, it was there. Like playing footy early days was one of the hardest things for me, because I'd get called every name under the sun. Even at AFL level, my first couple of years, I was getting racially vilified on field. I get supporters when I stand in the goal square, call me a black so-and-so, this, and this. And my social media, I'm not going to lie, my social media, I still get it. I still get probably one or two a week when the season's on. People, saying, people like me don't belong in the game. You're black so-and-so, go back to wherever, get back on your boat, things like that. And yeah, I used to be the guy that used to screenshot it and post it and say, enough is enough. But I learned that I don't want to really give them a voice. I don't want to showcase them or their profiles. And I thought I sat down with my management company and I said, what's the way we can, help express my views or some of the things I do without making it so, I guess, in your face or in a negative way. And that's where the children's book came about. And we thought, let's just keep educating. The more we can educate, and I'm pretty, how do I say it? I'm a realist when it comes to these things too. Like, you're not going to change everyone. And I think some people get caught up at times thinking, this old 80-year-old guy down the road is a racist. He shouldn't be able to do this and this. And I don't think it's right. But sometimes some people are just set in their ways. And, if I throw a ball with my right hand for 30 odd years, it's going to be hard to change that. So, you know, you might be able to teach me a few things to throw in my left hand, but I'm always going to revert back to my right. So I always think, yes, they are in the wrong mindset or the wrong mind frame because of the way they've grown up, the era they've grown up in and what they've seen. But I think getting the youth, you know, the grassroots level and educating them, they'll slowly have more of a voice anyway when these older people are too elderly to talk and have a voice. So that's always been my mindset.
Hey guys, Howie here. Thank you so much for watching the Howie Games YouTube channel. We appreciate your support. Now, if you want to hear the full podcast, you can just click on the link directly below. If you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which would be fantastic, bang, click right there. And if you want to see more clips, highlights and updates from the Howie Games, just go that way. Thanks so much. As always, take it easy and peace and love.